What's going on, Exile? Welcome to my Elemental Hit Raider. It's a fairly cheap build that, as you can see in the video right now, killed the endgame bosses quite comfortably. I use Elemental Hit for clearing as well, and it works wonders there too, which you'll be able to see in the other segments of this guide. It's a good choice for a second or third character in the league, since you need at least a bit of currency and the 2 Elemental Hit jewels to really make it shine. The reason I ran with Raider is for the free Frenzy and Onslaught, which makes clearing much faster, and I become less reliant on Flasks. So Exile, let's see what other items that I use for this build. The unique items that I use for this build are mainly the Frostferno helmet and then the Chainsaw bow. In the Frostferno helm I put my main single target Elemental Hit setup, for the free level 30 Cold to Fire gem, as well as +4 to my Elemental Hit skill gem. Chainsaw bow I use only for bosses, and it's because of the 100% damage boost to nearby enemies. For clearing I use the Tempest bow because of the high attack speed, but you could just as well use a Lionel's Glare bow for the 100% chance to hit, as well as far shot bonus. Then I use a Call of the Brotherhood ring for lightning to cold conversion, and finally for body armor there's plenty of options, like a Lord or even a Tabula, but really I would recommend using a rare Elder armor with a chance to crit with attacks. I also use the 2 Elemental Hit jewels to make sure the skill can only select fire damage. You place the 2 jewels as shown in the video right now. For rares, these are the stats that you're looking for. Basically you want life and resist on all of your items, and then went for some accuracy on my gloves and movement speed on my boots. For rings and amulets you also want some elemental damage, as well as some crit modifiers on the amulet. For the quiver and jewels I went for similar stats to my amulet, but I made sure that whenever I have Chainsaw and the quiver I have together with Chainsaw, that my fire res is higher or equal to the other resistances that I have for maximum effect of my Wise Oak. And speaking of Wise Oak, the flasks that I use for this build are a Divine Life Flask with instant recovery and immune to bleeding, a Wise Oak, a Crit Flask with immune to shock, a Facing Flask with immune to curses, and a Movement Speed Flask with immune to freeze. My main gem setup for bosses that I have in my helmet is Elemental Hit, and with that I have damage on full life, elemental damage with attacks, and combustion. And then in my body armor I have my clearing setup, which is Elemental Hit, Mirage Archer, damage on full life, greater multiple projectiles, combustion, and elemental damage with attacks. And in my boots I have my auras, which are Herald of Ash, Ball Haste, and I activate both Haste and Ball Haste whenever I can, Immortal Call level 3, and Cast when Damage Taken level 1. In my gloves I have Summon Ice Golem, Blink Arrow, Faster Attacks, and then Decoy Totem. Then in both of my bows I have the exact same setup, so whenever I switch between my bows I will still get the same benefit, and that's Cast when Damage Taken level 3, Blade Vortex level 9, Assassin's Mark level 7, and Blind Support. For skills, these are the progressions that I went with. I put the majority of my points in life, elemental and bow damage, and then some crit chance and crit multiplier. I also went all the way over to Avatar of Fire to turn the rest of my physical and elemental damage into pure fire damage. And since I'm a raider, lastly I picked up all of the +1 to maximum frenzy charges for more damage and attack speed. My first choice was Way of the Poacher, so that I gain frenzy charges whenever I kill a monster or when I hit either a rare or unique enemy. And then I took Avatar of the Slaughter to improve all of the damage and attack speed for every frenzy charge that I have. Lastly I took Rapid Assault and Avatar of the Chase for the free onslaught bonus and the extra damage and evasion you get while affected by this buff. For Pantheon I went for Soul of Lunaris as Major Guard for physical damage reduction, as well as some increased movement speed. You also get a chance to avoid projectiles and to dodge attacks and spells. For Minor God I went for Soul of Gruthkul for even more physical damage reduction, as well as whenever an enemy hit me they get reduced attack speed. For bandits, either help Alira or kill them all. For leveling, I always recommend using a tabula rasa. I level with split arrow from level 1 and use that until level 12 when I switched over to elemental hit. You want to rush towards the 2 jewel sockets as fast as possible to make sure your elemental hit can only select fire damage. That's why I used a pyre ring together with my ring of the Brotherhood all the way up until I picked up Avatar of Fire from the skill tree. The main pros for this build is that it's both a good mapper as well as a good boss killer. It's a pretty cheap build, but it can be made insanely strong with more investment put into it. For example, you can corrupt your helmet for a +2 to projectile gems, and that would drastically increase your single target damage. The main cons for this build is that you cannot run elemental reflect mods, and no region and no leech maps are really quite annoying to play. So thanks for watching, hopefully you wanna try the build out, and maybe I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye, Exile.